The alien exploration ship, Lareth, drifted silently through deep space. Once a proud vessel with bright silver wings and smooth engines, it now floated like a broken leaf in a dark ocean. Its hull was cracked, lights flickered weakly, and the air recycling system gasped like a dying animal. Captain Raltor stood in the command center staring at the failing power display. His green skin, once bright with confidence, looked pale and drained. Sweat formed along his forehead ridges. "How long until life support fails?" he asked quietly. His engineer, Serene, checked the console again, even though she already knew. "Maybe 30 hours, Captain." "Maybe less." Raltor closed his eyes. 30 hours until the oxygen became too thin to breathe. 30 hours until his crew, 12 brave explorers, slipped into darkness forever. It had started so well. A new wormhole had appeared near their system, and the Council sent Lareth to investigate. Curiosity turned to excitement. Excitement turned to fear. Fear became disaster. The wormhole collapsed while they were inside it. The ship had been thrown across unimaginable distance, flung like a pebble into a different stretch of empty space. Their engines burned out instantly, their navigation systems fried, their main power grid took heavy damage. They were alive, but lost, very, very lost. The crew worked for days, rewiring systems, patching holes, trying to restart their engines. Nothing responded, nothing improved. Their tools were not designed for this level of damage. Soon their emergency rations began shrinking. Water had to be recycled more than usual. Sleep became difficult. But the worst part, the silence. Raltor ordered a distress broadcast to every known frequency, military channels, civilian channels, old channels not used in centuries. Every 10 minutes the ship repeated the same message. "This is the exploration vessel Lareth. We are stranded. Coordinates unknown, engines disabled, requesting assistance from any friendly vessel." The message echoed into the void, but nothing returned. Hours passed, then a full day, then two. On the third day, Serene approached the captain. "Sir, no one is coming." Raltor forced a smile he didn't feel. "Someone will hear us." Serene didn't argue. She simply nodded and returned to her broken console. But her eyes told the truth. They were out of time, out of hope, and out of the galaxy's attention. No Empire sent rescue ships this far. This region was known as dead space. Dangerous, unpredictable, empty. Even if someone heard them, they would ignore them. By the 6th day, the mood inside the ship felt heavier than gravity. 2 aliens fainted due to low oxygen. One became ill from dehydration. Another cried silently in a corner, believing they would never see home again. Raltor held a meeting in the central chamber. His voice shook as he spoke. "My friends, you have done everything possible. This is not your failure. The galaxy is wide, and we are only a small ship, but we will keep sending the signal. We must try." His crew nodded, but their eyes were empty. After the meeting, Raltor returned to the command center alone. He placed one hand on the broken screen. "Please," he whispered to the universe itself, "let someone hear us." He pressed the broadcast button again and again and again until his fingers trembled. The distress beacon grew weaker as power drained. The ship flickered again, and for a moment the lights went black. Raltor whispered, "No one is coming." The words felt like a blade twisting in his chest. On the 8th day of silence, Lareth drifted without power. The engines were dead. The navigation was dead. And now the primary battery reached only 7%. The distress signal continued, but barely, a weak whisper in endless darkness. Raltor sat in the captain's chair. His eyes were half closed. He could feel the thin air stinging his lungs. He thought about his home world. He thought about his family. He thought about his crew who trusted him to bring them back. But there was nothing left to do. Then a sound, a sharp crackle from the communication console. Raltor sat up straight. Tor, do you copy?" His heart pounded in his chest. His hands shook as he grabbed the console. "This is Captain Raltor of the vessel Lareth. Please repeat." Static filled the room, loud, chaotic, electric. Then a voice broke through. Not alien, not robotic, not familiar. Deep, firm, human. "This is the human vessel Valor. We received your distress signal. Hold your position. We are on our way." The crew, who had been resting or preparing for the end, suddenly stood up. "Humans?" one whispered. "That primitive species, the noisy, chaotic ones? They actually heard us?" Serene covered her mouth, tears forming. They came. Humans came. Raltor stared at the console, stunned. Humans, the species nobody trusted, the species nobody feared, the species everyone called young and foolish. They were the ones responding. Human vessel Valor. Raltor said with shaking voice, "How did you reach this far? No empire travels in this region." There was a pause. Then the human captain answered with calm strength, "Someone needed help." "That's enough for us." The crew froze. Hope, warm, bright, overwhelming, filled the air. For the first time in days, Raltor smiled. "Valor, we await your arrival." In the darkness of deep space, a broken alien vessel drifted alone. But now the silence was broken. Help was coming from humans, the last species anyone expected, and their warship would change everything. For hours after receiving the strange message, the crew of the Lareth waited in silence. Every alien on board felt the same mix of hope and fear. Hope, because someone finally responded. Fear, because that someone was human. Humans were new to the galaxy. They had small colonies, small fleets, small technology. At least that's what everyone believed. And yet, they answered. Captain Raltor stood by the window staring into the endless dark. Serene came beside him. "Captain," she asked softly, "do you really think humans can reach us out here?" Raltor exhaled slowly. "No empire sends ships into this region. Not the Varan, not the Heskans, not the Sovereign Alliance, but the humans." They answered so quickly. Serene tilted her head. "Maybe they do not understand the danger, or," Raltor whispered, "maybe they don't care about the danger." The idea unsettled him. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, stubborn, and often chaotic. They built things fast, broke things fast, fought fast, forgave fast. No one truly understood them. But now, in this moment, they were the only ones who cared enough to respond. 2 hours passed. Life support weakened further. The air had a metallic taste. Cold mist formed on the walls. Crew members shivered under blankets. But then the ship's sensors flickered too. Life. Barely. A faint reading appeared, a ripple, a vibration, something large shifting space from far away. Serene leaned forward. "Captain, something big is moving toward us." "Big?" Raltor repeated. "How big?" Before she could answer, the lights on the console brightened for a moment. A wave of energy washed over the ship. Then the sensor screen flashed. Massive object detected. Approach velocity extreme. Origin human. The crew gasped. Raltor stared at the screen. A human ship. This large? That can't be right. Most human ships were small patrol vessels or cargo transports. Their largest warships were considered medium-sized compared to established empires, but this reading was far beyond anything he expected. "Are we sure it's human?" Raltor asked. Serene nodded. "Yes. Signal code matches human military encryption." A chill ran through the room. The humans had not sent a scout, not a small rescue craft, not a research ship. They sent something else, something big enough to warp the space around it. Moments later, a bright flash lit up the darkness. Space folded, shimmered, and then tore open like a curtain, revealing a massive shape emerging through a subspace jump. The crew pressed their faces to the window. There it was, a warship. A true warship, human-made, yet far larger than anything they had ever seen from Earth. The vessel was dark metal with glowing blue engines that burned like miniature suns. Its sides were covered with reinforced plating. Turrets lined the edges. Drones hovered like metallic insects around it. Its name glowed across the front hull, HMS Valor. Serene whispered, This is impossible." Raltor's eyes widened, completely stunned. "I thought humans did not build ships like this." The ship was easily 3 times the size of any active human military vessel recorded in known databases. It looked like something built for WAR, not trade. Something designed to protect, not intimidate. Something forged with human fearlessness. Slowly, the massive human warship approached the broken alien vessel. No arrogance, no hesitation, no slow caution. It moved with purpose, with confidence, with heart. The communication console crackled again. "This is Commander Elias Ward of the HMS Valor. We have reached your coordinates." Raltor swallowed hard and responded. "Commander Ward, this is Captain Raltor of the Lareth. We did not expect such a large vessel." The human's voice came through strong and calm. No one else was close enough to reach you in time. So we pushed our engines to the limit. Raltor blinked. You risked your ship just to reach strangers? Ward replied simply, you asked for help. The alien crew stared at each other, shocked by the simplicity of the answer. No politics, no negotiation, no demands. They came because someone needed help. Humans were strange, but in this moment, they were exactly what the galaxy needed, the valor. Moved into position beside the crippled Lareth. Giant hatches opened along its sides, releasing engineering drones. The drones zipped through space like bright silver fish, attaching themselves to the alien hull. Within seconds, power cables connected, stabilization clamps locked into place, oxygen tanks transferred, emergency heating activated. Warm air blew through the Lareth for the first time in days. The crew let out small cries of relief as their breath no longer felt cold and sharp. Athena, the Valor's AI, spoke through the speakers. Lareth systems detected. Attempting to restore minimal power, the lights turned back on. Weak, flickering, but real. Raltor felt tears fill his eyes. Thank you, he whispered, as human engineers continued their repairs. Raltor spoke directly to Commander Ward. Commander, may I ask something? Ward replied, of course. Raltor hesitated. Why would humans risk a warship, risk your crew, risk your lives, to save aliens you have never met? There was a long, quiet pause. Then Ward answered. His voice was steady, honest, human, because one day we might be the ones lost in the dark, and if we want help when that day comes, we help others now. The alien crew went silent. It was a simple answer, a powerful answer, an answer no other empire would ever give. Raltor placed a hand on his chest. Humans, he whispered softly, are not what anyone believes. The human warship stood guard over the broken alien vessel like a giant shield in the void. For the first time since the disaster began, the crew of the Lareth truly believed they would survive, because humanity had arrived, and they did not hesitate. The alien vessel Lareth was in terrible shape. Cracked walls, frozen air, faint lights barely glowing, crew members weak and struggling to breathe, but everything changed the moment humans arrived. After stabilizing the two ships together, the human warship HMS Valor sent a new message through the speakers. Prepare for boarding. Medical and engineering teams incoming. Captain Raltor and his crew gathered near the main hatch. They were exhausted, dizzy from the thin oxygen, but their eyes were filled with emotion. Fear, hope, confusion. They had never seen humans up close. Only pictures, only stories, mostly jokes told by older aliens who claimed humans were too emotional and too reckless. But the airlock hissed open, and reality proved all those stories wrong. 6 armored humans stepped through the hatch. Their boots hit the floor hard, echoing through the damaged ship. Their armor was heavy and scratched, showing they had been through battles before. Their helmets glowed with bright blue lights, scanning the environment behind them. Came 3 medics wearing lighter gear, rolling carts filled with equipment. Dr. Eva Raman, one of the Valor's top field medics, removed her helmet and smiled. Let's get you all breathing properly, she said warmly. The alien stared at her, stunned. Humans were shorter than expected, but their presence filled the room like a storm. They moved with purpose. Their eyes showed urgency, not fear. Ava checked Raltor's oxygen levels and immediately placed a warm air mask over his face. Breathe, she said softly. Warm, clean air entered his lungs for the first time in days. His eyes watered. He couldn't even speak. Across the room, Serene sat weakly against the wall. A human medic knelt beside her. You're safe now, he said, adjusting her breathing mask. Why are you doing this? Serene whispered. The medic smiled gently. Because you needed help. While the medics stabilized the crew, human engineers began scanning the ship. They used strange tools, plasma welders, compact generators, and portable scanners that hummed with energy. Commander Elias Ward entered the vessel last. His presence was calm, strong, controlled. He walked straight to Raltor. I'm Commander Ward, he said. Your crew is our responsibility now. Raltor bowed his head weakly. We didn't expect humans to answer. Ward paused and removed his helmet. His face was serious but kind. No one else was close enough. And even if they were, we don't ignore distress calls. He turned to the engineers. Team 1, repair the power coupling. Team 2, stabilize the hull breach. Team 3, boost oxygen distribution. The humans split instantly, moving with perfect coordination. They were fast, loud, focused. Sparks flew as they welded cracks. Tools whirred. Panels opened and closed in seconds. One alien whispered, "They're fixing our ship like it's theirs." Within minutes, small lights flickered back. K on. Not bright, not strong, but alive. For the first time since the wormhole disaster, the Lyrith felt like it had a heartbeat again. Eva lifted a weak alien child into her arms and carried him to a heated blanket. "You're going to be fine," she said softly. "Just stay awake." Another human medic worked on an injured crewman whose arm was badly cut. He sprayed a human-made healing foam over the wound. The alien gasped, not from pain but shock. "It doesn't hurt? That's the idea," the medic said with a grin. Serene watched all of this, amazed. They treat us like we are their own people." Raltor nodded slowly. "Yes, they do." After an hour of repairs, warmth returned to the air. Lights glowed brighter. Life support hummed softly. Raltor pulled Commander Ward aside. "Commander, I must ask something." Ward crossed his arms. "Go ahead." Raltor's voice was soft, full of confusion. "Why did you come? Why risk a human warship so far from your home? Why help strangers when every other empire ignored us?" The commander's answer came without hesitation. "Because someone had to." Raltor blinked. That is not a normal reason." Ward smiled faintly. "Maybe humanity is not a normal species." He pointed to his team. "Humans were once stranded on a dying world too. We learned that if you want others to help you someday, you start by helping anyone you can," Raltor whispered. "Even strangers?" Ward nodded. "Especially strangers." The captain felt a weight lift from his heart. Humans weren't acting for reward, not for politics, not for power. They acted because it was the right thing to do. Serene approached Commander Ward suddenly and bowed deeply. "We owe you our lives." Ward immediately shook his head. "No, you don't owe us anything. Rest, heal. When your ship is ready, you'll head home," a young alien asked nervously. You won't leave us be." "Ind?" Ward's expression hardened, not with anger, but with resolve. "Humans don't abandon people." Eva added, "If you cry out in the dark, we will come. Always." The aliens felt their throats tighten. Some cried, some simply stared at the human rescuers in disbelief. Hours later, the Lyrith was warm again. Its crew had water, oxygen, and food provided by the humans. Drones kept repairing broken systems, but outside, the human warship Valor hovered like a guardian against the stars. Raltor stood by the window, looking at the Valor glowing with blue lights. "Humans," he whispered. "They came without hesitation, without fear." He felt something shift in his heart, respect, trust, maybe even admiration. Serene joined him. "Captain, do you think we would have done the same for them?" Raltor closed his eyes. "No, not before today." She nodded slowly. "But now that we've seen humanity, maybe it's time the galaxy learns from them." Outside the window, the human warship pulsed with power, a protector, a beacon, a promise that even in the deepest darkness, someone will answer, and that someone was humanity. For a moment, the Lyrith felt alive again. Lights glowed softly. Oxygen flowed. Heat warmed the metal floors. The alien crew rested with relief as human engineers moved around fixing systems. Captain Raltor watched the human warship HMS Valor drifting calmly outside the window, its blue engines casting a protective light across the broken alien ship. For the first time in days, hope filled the darkness, but hope did not last long. Only 2 hours into repairs, the Valor's AI, Athena, suddenly activated across both ships. Attention, unknown signatures detected. Multiple vessels approaching at high velocity. The humans froze. The aliens froze. Every sound stopped. Commander Elias Ward quickly tapped his helmet. "Athena, show us." A hologram appear. D. Red dots filling the screen like drops of blood spreading in water. Athena's voice remained calm. "Estimate 12 hostile vessels." Class Kreth Scavenger Raiders. When the alien crew heard that name, several gasped in terror. Serene whispered, No, no, not them, anyone but them. Raltor felt a cold shiver climb up his spine. The Kreth, he said quietly, are why no one else came. The Kreth weren't a normal empire. They weren't traders or explorers. They were hunters, true hunters. They roamed dead space, waiting for wounded vessels, stranded ships, or small crews with failing systems. They never rescued anyone. They attacked, destroyed, and harvested anything they found. Metal, bodies, technology. Nothing escaped the Kreth. Everyone feared them. Everyone avoided their territory. No empire risked losing ships for strangers. That was why the Larath was left alone for days. Raltor clenched his jaw. The Kreth attack anything that can't run, Serene added, voice shaking. They will kill us all. In the middle of panic, the humans stayed calm. Commander Ward activated his suit. Engine team returned to the Valor. Medical team finished stabilizing the wounded. Combat teams, battle stations. His voice echoed like thunder in the silent corridor. Eva stepped beside him. Are we fighting them? Ward answered without hesitation. They want to fight? Good. We brought one. Raltor stared at him in disbelief. You will face 12 ships alone? Ward turned to him with a steady gaze. Captain, listen carefully. We did not come only to rescue you. We came to protect you. That means until you leave this region safely, no one touches you. Eva nodded firmly. Even if it means risking our lives. The aliens felt a shock run through them. Humans were not doing this out of duty or reward. They were doing it because it was right. The Valor moved, slowly at first then. With strong acceleration, the massive human warship positioned itself directly between the Lareth and the incoming Kreth ships. Its engines burned bright blue. Its armor glowed under emergency shields. Weapon turrets rotated into position. Inside the Lareth, the alien crew ran to their windows. What are they doing? One whispered. They're shielding us, another said in awe. Raltor felt his chest tighten. No one has ever protected us like this, he whispered. The Kreth ships approached fast. Sharp black shapes with red glowing underbellies, like predators emerging from shadows. The Kreth broadcast a message onto all open channels. The voice was distorted, cold, almost metallic. We smell weakness. The broken ship is ours. Leave or die, Commander Ward answered. Instantly, this is the human warship Valor. These people are under our protection. Turn back. The Kreth laughed, a horrible mechanical growl. Humans small, new. You will die with them. Ward smirked. Try it. Eva looked at him nervously. You know they don't bluff, Commander. Ward nodded. And neither do humans. Inside the Valor, alarms flashed. Lights turned red. Soldiers ran through the halls. Pilots strapped into fighters. Gunners calibrated weapons. Athena's voice guided everyone. Enemy range, 20,000 kilometers, estimated contact. 1 minute. Eva returned to the Lareth briefly to check the alien crew one last time. Stay low, stay inside. Seal all compartments. Raltor grabbed her arm. Eva, why do humans fight for strangers? She smiled gently. Because someone once fought for us when we were weak. And we never forgot. Then she sprinted back to her ship. The alien crew watched the Valor as it prepared for battle. The massive human warship seemed to swell with power. One alien whispered, They don't fear the Kreth. Another replied, They fear letting us die. The Kreth ships split into attack formation. Claw-shaped wings closing in from all sides. Red energy gathered on their front cannons. Serene gasped, They're charging. Raltor pressed his hands against the window. Brace. Then it happened. A blinding red beam fired from the lead Kreth ship, straight toward the Lareth, but the Valor moved like lightning. It surged forward, sliding in front of the beam, taking the entire hit with its shields. A huge flash of blue and red light lit up the dark. The Lareth shook from the shockwave, but remained safe. Inside the Valor, Athena reported, shields at 70%. Holding, Commander Ward stood firm. All weapons, open fire. The Valor unleashed its fury. Railguns fired glowing projectiles that ripped through space. Missiles streaked like silver arrows. Energy beams burst from the ship's sides. 2 Kreth ships exploded instantly. Another spun out of control. Inside the Lareth, aliens watched in complete shock. Humans fight like monsters. No, Raltor whispered. Humans fight like protectors. The battle roared outside their window. Explosions, flashes of light, the Valor charging forward like a massive shield. Every time the Kreth tried to target the Lareth, the Valor blocked them. Every single time. The Kreth realized too late that they had made a fatal mistake. They threatened those under human protection, and humans do not let that happen. The battle was not over. More Kreth ships arrived. The danger was rising, but one truth became clear. Humans did not come only to rescue. They came to protect, even if it cost their lives. The Kreth fleet moved like predators, dark shapes slicing through the void. Their red glowing engines pulsed like angry hearts, and their weapons charged with deadly power. They expected an easy kill, one broken alien ship, one tired crew, no protection. But something unexpected, Saint. Ooh-dee between them and their prey, a human warship. The HMS Valor, shining with blue engines and steel armor, held its ground like a wall of determination. It did not run. It did not hide. It simply waited, ready. Commander Elias Ward stood on the Valor's bridge, eyes locked on the incoming Kreth ships. Athena, he said calmly. Weapons status? The AI replied. Railguns ready. Missiles locked. Plasma batteries fully charged. Ward nodded. Good. Let's show them humanity isn't afraid. The Kreth moved, quickly, forming a claw-shaped attack pattern. Their ships opened fire at once, launching a barrage of burning red beams toward the Valor. Inside the Lareth, Captain Raltor watched helplessly. They're targeting the humans, he cried, Serene whispered. Trembling, can they survive that? The answer came instantly. The first volley hit the Valor's shield, and the shield flared bright blue, absorbing the attack with a booming echo. Athena announced, shields at 85%. No internal damage? Ward cracked a small smile. Not bad. Our turn. He raised his hand. Fire. The Valor's railguns fired first. Massive cannons launching magnetic slugs at unimaginable speeds. The projectiles tore through space like lightning bolts made of metal. The first slug punched straight through a Kreth scout ship. The ship split in half, then exploded into burning fragments. The Lareth crew gasped. Serene shouted, they destroyed it with one hit. But humans were far from done. Missile pods opened along the Valor's sides, releasing dozens of sleek silver missiles. Blue trails burned behind them as they streaked toward the Kreth formation. The Kreth scrambled to activate countermeasures, but the missiles were too fast, too smart. Boom, boom, boom. 3 Kreth ships vanished in massive fireballs. Raltor's eyes widened. Humans fight like a force of nature. The Kreth try to regroup. They circled, tightened formation, and fired again, this time focusing all energy beams on a single point of the Valor's shield. The Valor shook violently. Lights flickered. Panels rattled. Athena announced, shields at 60%. Adjusting polarity, the ship steadied instantly. Ward shouted, helm, rotate 30 degrees, bring plasma cannons online. The Valor spun elegantly, dodging through incoming attacks with surprising agility for its size. Plasma cannons emerged from the hull, glowing white-blue. Fire. A wave of plasma burst outward, a river of fire melting through 2 Kreth ships at once. Metal dripped like liquid. Debris floated glowing hot. Inside the Lareth, the aliens watched in awe and disbelief. They fight with chaos, one alien murmured, but also with perfect timing, another added. Raltor nodded slowly. They fight for us. That makes them unstoppable. The Kreth were experienced hunters. They hunted damaged vessels across dead space. They scavenged. They destroyed. They consumed. But never, not once, had they fought humans in full force. Now ship after ship fell to the Valor's relentless attack. The Kreth transmitted a new message. Human vessel, retreat. This is our claim, Ward laughed. No, this is our responsibility. He didn't even bother replying to them directly. Instead, he gave the order, all batteries, full barrage. The Valor unleashed everything. Railguns hammered. Missiles exploded. Plasma burned through the void. Laser beams sliced through Kreth armor like soft cloth. One Kreth ship tried to ram the Valor, but the human warship fired a close-range blast that tore the attacker apart before it could get close. On the Lareth, the alien crew stood pressed against the windows. They're winning, Serene cried. They're actually winning. A younger crew member whispered, why did the galaxy call the Am weak? Why does everyone underestimate humans? Raltor answered quietly. Because the galaxy has never seen humans fight for something they care about. He placed his hand on the glass, watching the valor glow with power. Humans may be reckless. Humans may be loud. Humans may be strange. But they are loyal, brave, and fearless when someone needs help. Serene nodded, and right now, we needed them. Only 3 Kreth ships remained. They circled the battlefield, weapons overheating, engines sputtering. They did not look like hunters anymore. They looked like prey. Athena's voice echoed across the Valor's bridge, enemy morale collapsing. Recommend finishing strike. Ward breathed deeply. Finish it. The Valor charged forward like a spear thrown by a giant. Its thrusters exploded with bright blue flames. The last missiles launched, streaking toward the remaining Kreth ships. Boom, boom, boom. All 3 enemies erupted into fire, breaking apart into floating dust. Silence followed, a long, heavy silence that spread across both ships. Suddenly, the Kreth transmitted one final message. Human vessel, cease. We withdraw. The remaining distant Kreth ships turned and fled into deep space, engines burning red with panic. They weren't hunting anymore. They were running. Eva, back on the Valor Bridge, exhaled deeply. They're scared of us. Ward nodded. They should be. The battlefield lay quiet. The stars shimmered calmly again. The Lareth floated safely behind its human protector. Humanity had done the impossible. They faced a fleet of hunters and won, not just with strength, not just with weapons, but with courage and the unshakable belief that no call for help should go unanswered. The galaxy would never forget the message delivered that day. You don't touch those under human protection. The battlefield had finally gone silent. Burning trails of destroyed Kreth ships drifted across the darkness like fading red stars. The HMS Valor floated proudly in the center, scored with scars, shields scorched, weapon barrels smoking, but still strong. Behind it, the alien vessel Lareth remained safe, alive, protected. For the first time since the disaster, Captain Raltor breathed without fear. He turned to his crew. It's over. We survived. Serene wiped tears from her eyes. No, humans saved us. Inside the Lareth, warmth returned. Oxygen flowed freely. Systems hummed with life. Human engineers remained hard at work, repairing every last component. Portable generators glowed blue. Welders sparked. Panels were replaced. Broken circuits were rebuilt. Dr. Eva Raman checked each alien crew member one by one. How's your breathing? She asked a young alien who had fainted earlier. He nodded shyly. Better, thank you. She smiled. Good. You'll be home soon, the alien child whispered. You saved us, even when you didn't have to. Eva placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. That's what humans do. Commander Elias Ward stepped into the Lareth's command center, removing his helmet. Captain Raltor, he said, repairs are almost complete. Your engines will be functional within the next hour. Raltor bowed deeply. You repaired us. You fought for us. You risked your ship and your lives. Why? Why go so far for strangers? Ward looked at the alien captain with calm, honest eyes. Because someone called for help. Raltor shook his head slowly. That is not enough reason for any other species. Ward shrugged lightly. Maybe, but it's enough for humans. The alien crew gathered around, listening carefully. Raltor stepped closer to Ward. You owe us nothing. You gain nothing from saving us. Yet you came without hesitation. Ward smiled slightly. When the Kreth attacked your ship, we didn't think about politics or reward. We thought about the 12 people depending on us. Serene whispered, You don't fear the Kreth. Ward chuckled. Oh, we fear them. But we fear something else more. What's that? She asked. Losing who we are, Eva added softly. If we ignore someone in danger, then what does that make us? The aliens exchanged glances. No empire thought this way. No empire risked anything for a small, unknown crew, only humans. Once the Lareth's engines were restored, the 2 ships began moving together toward safe space. The human warship traveled slightly behind the alien vessel, acting as a shield. The Kreth did not return. They fled far beyond sensor range. The path home was calm, quiet, almost peaceful. Inside the Lareth, the crew sat together thinking deeply. Humans, One alien said softly. They are nothing like we were taught. They are dangerous, Serene whispered. Raltor replied, dangerous, but only to those who harm others. He looked through the window at the Valor flying behind them. To us, they were protectors. When the two ships reached the border of known safe space, Commander Ward sent one last message. Captain Raltor, we will escort you until your navigation systems are stable. After that, you can make the jump home. Raltor walked to the communication screen. His voice cracked slightly. Commander Ward, I do not know how to thank you. No other species would have come for us. Not one. Ward nodded. I know. Why did you? Raltor asked again, needing the answer one more time. Ward's reply was simple, quiet, and powerful, because when someone cries out in the dark, humanity answers. Raltor felt emotion build in his chest. Commander, we will never forget this. Never. Ward smiled. Good. Then we've done our job. Hours later, the Lareth entered its home system. The crew cheered. Families cried in relief. Their return message spread quickly across the planet. They had been saved, not by their own empire, not by ancient allies, not by strong militaries, but by humans. When the Lareth landed, people gathered around, desperate to hear the full story. Raltor stepped out first. What happened? Who rescued you? Reporters shouted. Raltor raised one hand for silence. We were dying, lost in dead space. No empire answered, no ally cared, no nation sent help. He paused, then his voice grew strong, but humanity did. The crowd gasped. Yes, Raltor said proudly, it was humans. They protected us. They fought the Kret. They rebuilt our ship. They risked their lives for ours. A hush fell over the crowd. They came without hesitation, Raltor continued. They came because we called for help, and that was enough for them. Within hours, the story spread across star systems. Alien channels broadcast headlines. Human warships save stranded crew. Humans face Kreth fleet and win. Unknown human power surprises galaxy. But the most repeated message was simple when all others stayed silent. Humanity answered. Empires began to whisper about the human species. Small, yes. New, yes. Chaotic, absolutely. But also fearless, loyal, impossible to ignore. Admirals across the galaxy adjusted their maps. Politicians reviewed their treaties. Leaders rethought their opinions. Humanity had revealed something unexpected. They were not the weakest race. They were the most dangerous kind of ally, the kind that never abandons anyone, the kind that hears a call for help and sends a warship, as the Lareth crew celebrated their survival. One message arrived from Commander Ward. If you ever need us again, you know how to call. Raltor smiled deeply. Yes, he whispered, we do. And somewhere in deep space, the human warship Valor continued its patrol, ready to answer the next call, ready to fight the next battle, ready to remind the galaxy. Humanity may be young, but their courage is ancient, and their promise is simple. No one cries out alone.